Go.
Hello.
Hey. We did it. We
Wow.
made it.
We did.
We're so cool.
We are extra cool.
And so are you.
hmm That's right. You know it's true because we said it.
Yeah. And
That's
everything
how
we
it goes.
say is 100% the truth, as best we know.
hmm Yeah, why would we say anything less?
You know,
Yeah,
it's so funny because sometimes you say something and you are absolutely certain that it's
you're
true what
100%
you're
true.
saying.
hmm
So you're not lying, but you could be wrong.
hmm But you're wrong. Yeah, happens. Happens all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
hmm
So welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. Welcome to the show.
hmm
Welcome to
Yes.
Jeff and Mianglios and Neon's Wednesday and Lucian Rhapsody so far. You guys
Hey.
look great in the chat. All of you
hmm
lurkers that are hanging out with us, we love you too. You are welcome at any point in time to join in the chat.
Yeah.
Or you're
Except for you,
also
young
welcome to
Leos.
lurk. What's that?
Except for you, young Leos. You are not welcome. You have to drive safe and
Oh yeah.
be careful. But we will love you all the time, the whole time. But just no dangerous things.
You know, the law is no texting and driving. That's like the rule. But can
Oh yeah.
you chat? Can you be in a chat and drive at the same time?
I think texting is writing with letters on your phone or characters. Man, what
Oh.
is texting? What's the specifics?
Well, cuz
I'm sure.
there's a certain category of messaging called
Mhm.
text messaging, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
But I remember I had a boss one time who was like on this was a long time ago. He had a BlackBerry. Remember a
Oh, wow.
BlackBerry?
Yeah. hmm
And he's like on his phone. I'm like, "Hey, don't be texting and driving." And he's like, "I'm not texting. I'm emailing."
Yeah.
It's like
What's the Yeah, I wonder. I feel like there's got to be like I'm sure there have been many people who have like gotten in trouble for texting and driving, and then they take it to court and they're like, "I was not texting, sir. I was writing an email or I was browsing YouTube." You
right.
know, like it's like okay.
Well, and that's
I'm
why
sure there's got to
now,
be.
so now they have the new law where it's like if your phone in Michigan anyway, where you can't even have your phone in your hand. Like if you have your phone
Yeah.
in your hand and they see you driving with your phone in your hand,
Um,
then you can get a ticket. Get in
wow.
big trouble.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's gonna cost you some money.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it.
Nah, probably
Pull the
not.
car over.
Yeah. So, Mianglios, yes, we're so glad to have you in the chat, but at the same time, please drive safely.
Yeah.
People got to get their Uber Eats, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
important. You have a very
hmm
important job because people got to eat, and they need you to bring them their food. So do it up, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's right.
so this Don't Worry Wednesday. We don't have any topics sitting in our queue. So we're just gonna
True.
fly by the seat of our pants. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And so if you do have a topic though, you can go to don'tworrywednesday.com, click the submit a topic button and fill that out, and it should be just fine. We know that sometimes there are some glitches. Every once in a while that happens, so it's okay. You can send us messages. You can direct messages on Discord. We're happy to get those messages too.
hmm
Or you
Yep.
can put it right here in the chat.
hmm If you're if you're being anonymous and you submit a topic and we don't see it and we don't mention it, and you're like, well, how do I get a you should be able to send us a private Discord message. If anyone doesn't have that, you can just ask, we'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, well, yeah. Anyways, um, yep. Yeah, you can still be anonymous.
Uh-huh.
At least to everybody but us. And yeah.
And if you want to be anonymous, let us know, and we'll be happy
Mhm.
to not mention who you are.
Yeah. Or you could create a new account on YouTube just for it, but I
You
suppose
totally can
that's
do
a
that too.
lot of work. hmm
Is it a lot of work? I mean, I've created a whole bunch
Oh, I
of
don't know.
different YouTube
Yeah.
profiles.
Yeah, maybe it's actually really easy.
It's so funny because I have like a list of a whole ton of them. When I go to switch account, like I have to actually scroll to get through them all
Wow.
because
Wow.
we got all the ones, and it's weird because I've got a bunch that are owned by me, and then I have a bunch that I have access to that are owned by Black Static and Swerve, and then I have a whole,
Hmm.
you know, so it's like this
Hmm.
whole big list of profiles that I can just log into if I want.
Do you have to do you wow, where was I going? Oh, do you have to create a new email for every one of them?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think
Well,
so.
all right.
I know when you do create a new email, you kind of automatically get a new account.
Yeah, okay. That's
When you
true.
create a new Gmail, like you automatically get a YouTube account that is attached to that email.
Hmm.
So that might be the easiest way to do it. Just create a new email account, and
Yeah.
then there you are. You have a new YouTube. And we have all kinds of people. Like, I mean, even you, Ryan, where you're like, you're in on the wrong account, and you're like, oh, that's the wrong account,
Hmm.
and we see it a bunch of times.
Yep.
People are like, oh, it's a different account, and that's okay.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so we have all kinds of ways to maintain your anonymity,
Hmm. Yep.
but
But you don't have to be anonymous, like for sure. Like everyone here is awesome and
mhm,
super kind. No one's gonna care.
that's true. But sometimes something's real personal,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's
So you're
things,
welcome to.
there are things that I wouldn't want to share, and I would just share anonymously.
Nah, that's not true, Joe.
Not true. My
Yeah,
life
I
is a
decided that's
totally
not.
open book. Everybody knows everything about me.
Yeah, well, that's the Book of Joe
It's a book of
exists,
Joe, and it's
except for it
open.
doesn't exist. Yeah, and it's open. You can just open it right up. So easy to open that book
It
up
is because it's already
if it were
open.
real. Yeah, it's easy as opening a book if it were real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Or maybe, before that point, it's as easy as opening a PDF, which is just a double click. Yeah.
sometimes double clicking is hard though.
Yeah,
Do you ever
because
run
sometimes
into
you don't
that
have a
where
computer.
you don't click in the right exact speed, and so then, or you click it too fast and then nothing happens, or you click it too slow and then nothing happens, or you double click and then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of highlighted stuff on your screen, and then
Hmm. I had two friends over, and one of them was trying to operate my computer, and he couldn't get the double click to work. And my other friend said, "Hey, you gotta double click faster. Ryan's super fast with his fingers, so his thing is turned up all the way. You just have to double click, like just like that." And I was like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know. I thought I had a normal setting. I don't remember. Maybe I did set it
Can
up.
you change
I
that
set a miss.
setting? Well,
You can,
I'm
you
sure,
can.
I'm sure that
Hmm.
everything is like adjustable to some degree, but
Yeah, I just totally didn't remember I ever changed it.
okay.
But yeah, you at least in the old Windows, like Windows XP, you could.
Uh huh.
That's okay. Yeah,
Man, oh man, those were the days. Windows XP, man. Talk about
yeah,
the olden days.
I like that one.
You liked XP.
I liked XP, which is why I was happy when they. I mean, there's still things that I liked about XP more than like Windows 10 and 11,
Mm-hmm.
but at least Windows 10 and 11 kind of took after them more than the Windows Vista,
That's true. Or
but
Windows 8.
or Windows 8. But
Windows
parts
8,
of
which
Windows
was,
Vista,
what's that?
yeah, parts of Windows Vista made it into Windows 10, and those parts are like annoying to me. But
Ah,
yeah,
I see.
yeah. Windows 8, yeah, what about that one?
I
That one
remember
was designed
Windows
for
8. Windows 8 was so bad that they skipped Windows 9 and went straight to 10.
straight to 10. Yeah. Like, let's not make a 9.
We're
Like,
just
we're
gonna,
just gonna be so
yep,
different from
it's
that. We're
like
gonna go to 10.
punishment for us. We're just not gonna do a number 9.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
kind of like you go to, I was at I was in Detroit, and we
Windows
were
7.
staying in a high-rise building, and none of these buildings have a floor 13.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah.
Yep,
So silly.
it's weird,
They
but they don't.
they actually do. Of course, they actually do have a floor 13. And it's not an empty space with nothing in it where you just pass it and you go to the floor 14. No, it's when you're on floor 14, you're actually on floor 13.
It's true. You're right. They just don't put the number 13 on there.
Yeah, they just don't put the number 13 on it. Yeah. So silly.
It is, but hey,
Uh-huh.
it's how it.
Yeah.
Every building that has more than 13 floors in it has been that way. I've never so far in my life, I've never seen a building with floor 13.
Well, in Japan, there's floor 13.
Oh, really?
They don't have that weird. What's that called?
Superstition.
Superstition, yeah.
Yeah.
There was no point. There was no. Yeah. Didn't invade there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. So anyway, welcome guys to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we talk about your topics, anything that you would like to know about, anything you'd like us to talk about. You can feel free to put it in the chat. You can go to don'tworrywednesday.com and send it there. You can direct message us on Discord. However, I will admit I have not been on Discord very much lately. I've mostly just been working. So I'm on it right now though. So if you send it right now, I'll get it.
Oh.
That's if you're watching this in the live.
That's a good distinction.
If you're watching this after the live stream, I might not be there.
We have one. We have a topic.
We do? We got a new topic. Look at that.
Thank you.
We did. Wow.
Bye, Anon.
Anon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anon.
Thank you.
Anon. Nice. All right. Well, so, and they chose the option of going to don'tworrywednesday.com and clicking the submit a topic button, which is one of the options you can do. And we would love to have whatever topic. I don't think we've ever, have we ever denied a topic? I can't remember.
No.
I didn't think so.
No. We have done every topic we've been given, except if we've been told later not to do it before we got to it. Or there have been a few that we didn't do for specific reasons similar to that. Like the topic didn't come through correctly and like it was not but yeah, we've never actually had a topic that we didn't do. Some of them went through really quickly because they were just kind of joking topics, but yeah, we've gone through pretty much every topic.
Yeah.
Yep,
because that's how we roll. There's no topic we won't discuss.
That's true, but not necessarily a challenge.
You can try. Try to send us a topic we won't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so Jeff, but the Windows Vista sluggish allowed so many to upgrade to a faster computer that then, lived on longer. And topic was asked, but the questioner wasn't attending and then it resolved itself in the meantime. Yep, that's happened before too, because there's an option where you can choose whether or not you want to be here for for us discussing it. It's tough to do that if you want to remain anonymous, because then we don't know who you are. But it's tough for us to know if you're actually in attendance. But, yeah. So if you send it anonymously, we'll probably just do it whenever, and that'll be okay.
Yeah.
Either way, it's going to be great. And guys, we're really happy to be here with you guys. We love this time. We're not professional therapists. We're not professional attorneys or we're not a substitute for professional advice in any way. We're definitely not medical doctors. So we're basically just drawing off our own personal experience in a lot of these things and the experience of people that we've talked to. But what we want to do most is just be your friend. We want to help in any way we possibly can. If we can help ease whatever struggle it is that you're dealing with, that's what we want to do. And because there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of situations out there that are really difficult. And a lot of times when you're in the middle of it, it's hard to have a good perspective. And sometimes just having that outside perspective of somebody who's not in the middle of the fight or in the middle of the challenge or whatever. To hear somebody talk about that can be really helpful. So, excuse me.
The topic is processed and ready to go.
Perfect. Well, we can do that topic. But first of all, how are you guys doing? Those of you in the chat, how's it going? Ryan, how are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. How are you doing?
Oh,
yeah.
Nah.
Nah. Dude, I'm doing yeah.
You said,
You're doing nah.
Yeah. I'm going to do, nah.
You're doing nah.
All
right.
Nah.
I'm doing yeah.
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 I'm doing not bad.
Oh, not bad. Nice. That's pretty tied it right in. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. It's perfect. I'm not worrying though because it's Wednesday, and I don't worry on
not
Wednesday.
Worrying. That's right.
So we're not going to worry about it. But yeah, thank you, Jeff. Jeff has just put the link in the chat for you guys.
Thank you.
So if you have a topic, you can just click the link. You don't even have to type in don'tworrywednesday.com. You can just click that link, and it'll take you there.
Wow.
And then you can
Made
send
it
it
easy.
in. I mean, it's so convenient, right?
Yeah. Does it get any more convenient than that? No.
It's not any more convenient. And you just did it again.
Double convenient.
Jeff, you made it doubly convenient.
Is if you could fill out your topic for you, but that doesn't. We don't have that kind of technology yet.
What?
Filling out the topic for them.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We can't do that.
The kind that will read your mind and just put it out there.
That would be kind of creepy.
It does kind of exist, but not. We don't have that technology here between us.
True. All right, well, let's jump into this topic. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to jump into this topic. This comes from Anonymous, and it's been titled Figuring Out My Reasons. And I have no idea what it says, but I'm about to find out. It's going to be good. Yeah. So I will put this up on the screen for you guys, and then you guys can read along while I read it out loud. And again, this is called Figuring Out My Reasons, and it comes from Anonymous. And it reads like this. Sometimes I feel restless, but struggle to figure out how or why. I journal, but it doesn't always help sedate the feeling or pinpoint what's going on. What are some questions I can ask myself while I'm journaling to help pinpoint why I feel a certain way and how to move forward? From Anonymous. That is a very good question, Anonymous. Holy cow. Because, yeah, sometimes we do just get feelings come out of the blue, and we don't know necessarily what triggered those feelings. We don't know what happened, and I can remember, I don't know, I think it was a few days ago, I was just really charged up, and I was really just, it was like this combination of, like, energetic and angry. You know? And there was all this, I was just like supercharged, and I wasn't exactly sure why. And I started to figure out, as I thought through some of the things, my mind was just going a mile a minute, and going through all these different scenarios. And like at this moment, because of the way I felt, like everything was a threat. Like every thought that came through my mind about any situation or any person, it was a threat. And I'm like, and so then I was just getting more charged up, and I'm not exactly sure why necessarily, but one of the things I do know is that emotions, like when we feel a certain way, a lot of times, whatever has triggered it, the emotions generally pass within about 90 seconds unless we engage with the emotion and continue it going, right? But the feeling we have inside generally subsides in about 90 seconds if you just let it pass. So just because you're feeling a certain way at any given point doesn't mean you have to continue feeling that way. I can understand it gets prolonged when we're confused about it, and then we might end up with some anxiety about it, and then it just can kind of continue things. And so then the trick that I've learned is to just figure out how to calm myself down, either by doing some deep breathing exercises or doing some bilateral movement where I do something with my left hand, and or that's my right hand, I guess, and then with my left hand, and I just kind of oppose back and forth and do that. And that can help to calm things down a little bit, so then I can think a little bit more clearly. But those are some things that have been really helpful. But wait, so Neon's Wednesday says I get grumpy for no reason too, but then I realize I'm not grumpy, and then I get grumpy again. What? Oh, gumpy. You get gumpy.
That does mean grumpy.
I said grumpy. It
Yeah.
does. Does it mean grumpy?
It does.
Oh, see, I think when I think of grumpy, I think of like upset grumpy, right? But then when I think of gumpy, I think like, like kind of clumsy.
Yeah, well, it's grumpy, but not as grumpy. It's
Not a real grumpy. Oh, it's just kind of grumpy, just a little on the grump-tastic side. Okay.
Yeah, it's grumpy but self-aware.
Yes.
That you're using as like a, sort of like a little bit cute, a little bit playful, but also actually grumpy. Something like that.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. All right, cool.
The
So,
tamed grumpy.
yeah. So this is a really good question, and I'm really interested to see what comes out as in a response to
Yeah.
this. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and we're all going to be entertained and dumbfounded by just the magnitude greatness of
Oh, man.
of this whole thing. So, guys, give it up for Ryan.
Wow. Give
Yeah.
it up. We have to give it up, guys. We're giving it up. What is it? I don't know.
It's it.
What
What is it?
we have to give it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Perfect.
thanks, Jeff. Honestly, this is a really good question, and I've thought about this a couple of times during our streams where, um, you know, Joe will mention things about like thinking like the worst that could happen.
Hmm.
He mentions one of the ways he gets over some of the issues that he faces with fear is to ask, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And usually it's not the worst thing, he says. Then usually he thinks of another thing that's even worse. And so, you go down that line. It's a hard thing for me because I think you have to have not saying that doesn't work. I'm just saying you have to have some kind of guardrail or guidance on that. And I think about that often because it's like, well, I think about what's the worst thing could happen, and I'm like, okay, so let's see. My brother dies somehow out of a consequence of something that I'm doing, and then like also his wife dies, and then I've got 7 children on my hand, 8 children on my hand, and then everybody else also dies, and I'm taking care of everybody because I called someone on the phone and it caused them to swerve and crash into someone, and then my whole family's dead. And it's like, okay, so
Whoa.
that's the worst. Yeah, it's like you need guardrails to figure out like, okay. And it's similar, it's like, okay, so those are yeah, take a few steps back. I know it's like, so whenever Joe says that, I'm like, I don't think I can take that route because I don't have those guardrails like he has. I'm not thinking about the way that he thinks. So, and I think it's the same thing, I've talked to my wife a few times about like asking yourself questions. Like, sometimes you'll do something and you just have to ask yourself why. Like, why did I do that? And then for me, that works because I can ask myself why, and I can be like, well, that's not why. And, let's dig deeper until I get to the bottom of it. And I'm like, that's the root of the problem here. I've established the fullness of the why, right? But yeah, not bro, man. Yeah, but my wife has communicated like when she tries to do that, she asks herself why, and it does not go down that route. It's like she doesn't end up at some rudimentary kind of result. She ends up in the weeds if she's asking why, because she doesn't take the like she doesn't take the same routes that I take when I think. So we end up in different places. So I find that this question is very difficult to answer because, you're asking, what can you ask yourself while journaling to help you pinpoint why you feel a certain way and how to move forward? So for me, I can ask myself, like, oh, I feel, I don't know, it's like sometimes I randomly feel guilty. And I'm like, why do I feel guilty yet? Like I'm walking around and I feel like something's like itching at me, like I did something wrong. And then I think back and I'm like, what was it? What was it that happened today that makes me feel like I did the wrong thing? I said the wrong thing, or maybe I did something that undermined someone else or whatever. And sometimes, and usually when that happens, I actually have done something and I'm very conscious of it. But sometimes I'm like, why do I feel that sensation? I'm thinking about it and I can't figure out why. So, but I might ask myself why, and I'm like, well, was it this? And then I'll think about my day and I'll be, well, that happened. And then that happened. And I think about each thing until one of the things I'm thinking about just hits. Like, like I think about it and I'm like, oh yeah, that wasn't right of me to do. That was definitely it. I remember that's got to be it. Like I just have a certainty in when I'm going backwards through my day and thinking about the different things I've done, I'll land on something that will be like, okay, yeah, that was definitely the thing that's currently making me feel like this sense of guilt or like I've done something wrong. But sometimes I can't find that thing. And when that happens, I'm like, I just can see it and say, well, I don't know what it is. So maybe it's just a random chemical firing in my brain or something, but I can't figure it out. So the only thing I can do is keep moving forward as if I haven't done anything wrong, right? But usually that works for me. But other people, they can't even do the first thing. They can't even go through their day and ask those questions because even if they do land on it, they don't have a sensor for like, yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing that made me feel that way. For some reason, some of us don't seem to have that sensor of like, even if you were to think about your day and you're like, okay, was it this? Was it that? Was it the other thing? And you're going through, none of it checks, And so sometimes either our sensors for these kinds of things, like how in tune are we with our emotions and why we respond the way we respond? Sometimes we're not in tune with that. So we can't figure out what would make us feel that way, you know? It's like I know myself, if I'm feeling guilty for something, like probably like 90% of the time, it's something that I said, not saying it the right way or in a way that was really kind of just not like I should, not the way I should have said something, or was like, it could be taken as mean or something like that, right? But I know myself, so I know what kind of things make me feel like I've done something wrong. But if you're not in tune with that, which is kind of what you're already kind of telling us, you say you feel restless, but you struggle to figure out why. It seems to me that maybe you're not in tune with your own emotions and why you start feeling certain ways. It's like you might be with some things like, oh, I know, if I get angry, I know exactly why I'm angry, and it's like, okay, you're in tune with that emotion. You know yourself well enough to know the kinds of things that make you angry and what kind of things really actually check the boxes for that emotion for you specifically, because it's not the same for everybody, but for you, it's a certain way. And you might be able to know, like, if you felt like, kind of down or depressed or sad that day, you might be able to think about the things that happened and go like, okay, yeah, these are the kinds of things that make me depressed, feeling sad, etc. And this was the box, this right here, this thing that happened to me today would have absolutely checked that box. So, or maybe it's not even a thing that, quote, happened to you from an outside source, but it could be an internal source happened to you. A thought crossed your mind, right? A thought crossed your mind, made you sad. And it's like, well, it was the thought, it was that thing that I thought about that made me sad, that's obvious. But for restlessness, maybe you haven't found the triggers enough to be able to think back on your day to really pinpoint. So I would say maybe what you need to do is rather than trying to figure out why you're restless when you're restless, I don't know if this is really good advice, but rather than trying to figure out, like going back in your day and trying to figure out why you're restless now, try to pay attention to moments where you become restless, if you can. If you wake up restless and you're just restless right from the beginning of the day, you have nothing to go back to figure it out. So to
Except
me,
maybe a dream.
I would say either A, it's a dream, it's part of your dream. You had something happen in your dream. If you can remember your dream, maybe check that. Or two, or B, sorry, A or B, whatever, A or two, it might be a chemical thing. It might be just drink some water and flush the system. Or maybe you need to go exercise and flush the system.
Mhm.
Maybe you need to go do something, that flushes the system. Go for a walk, go for a drive, run, do some exercise, drink some water, eat some food. And maybe even then, it could be a chemical thing that you're still not solving, even despite doing all those things. Because restlessness, I mean, all of these emotions, yeah, there's chemicals being fired off, and there's brain receptors that are being fired off. And they've been stimulated for one reason or another. And sometimes, like restlessness is, I think, one of those things. It might not be a reaction to a physical stimulus out in the world or a thought stimulus. It might actually just be a chemical reaction that is sort of an imbalance sort of thing. And I think with many things in life, there's a lot that's out of control. There's a lot that's out of our own control. And all we can do is take what we have and try to move forward with it. And so, you're asking, how do you move forward? I think sometimes you just got to bite the bullet in certain cases and just say, well, I don't know why I'm experiencing this, but I'm just going to, like, one thing that I do that's really helpful is to pray. If I say, just even if it's a short prayer, like, come, Holy Spirit, come, Holy Spirit. Maybe you're not someone to pray, but for me, that does wonders. If I pray about my attitude or about my whatever it is, that usually helps a lot. But even if not that, then just spending a little bit of time talking to yourself, prepping yourself up, and sort of choosing your attitude for the day, because you kind of get to pick that. So if you can choose your attitude for the day, and go forward with that. Obviously, you don't expect yourself to hold it the whole time or at every moment, but you can do your best to constantly choose a good attitude, the best you can, despite whatever's going on in your head. Sometimes there are things that happen in life, and it's like you can't stop yourself from feeling sad, but you can still be kind to others. You can still receive others well. You can still do your work. Sometimes things get so crazy and your emotions are in such a state of wreck that you can't do your work. And it becomes very difficult to be kind to people or whatever. But I think in the most things we're pretty capable. Yeah. And that's one of the struggles here. I think one of the things we have to realize is just, I'm not in control. The reality is I'm not in full control. I have to deal with, it's like you deal with whatever you're given. And that's what you're sort of in control of, which is kind of a beautiful thing, kind of a scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things that it's like we're constantly being tested, even by our own bodies, by our own minds, by our own emotions, and just chemical imbalances and whatever have we. And so it's like each and every day you're making the choices of how you respond to people, how much work you're going to do, what you're going to do with your time, what you're going to think about for at least some part of it. And I think something that I think about, and especially more recently, is how will you make the moment holy? And I think that's a beautiful thing to think about. It's like you can make the moment holy, even though holiness doesn't come from you. You can do things that are holy in every moment, even if that holiness is literally just patience and sitting there and not reacting in such a way that will make things worse, but instead choosing to attempt to just sort of, what's the word they say, to give it up to God, to give the pain or the moment as a just a sacrifice and let it be. You can do these kinds of things, and that can be really helpful. And I know I haven't necessarily guided you towards an answer, but I'm trying to give you a broad answer of, if you don't figure it out, because this is a kind of a difficult thing to figure it out. Sounds like you're having a lot of trouble figuring it out. So at least know you have the power to control and make moments beautiful and holy, regardless of whatever you're going through, when you don't even know why you're going through it, right? And so I think that's important to remember, and probably the most important thing to remember is that that's what you're here to do, and that's what you can do, even when you can't figure out what's going on. You can at least do your best to be the best you at that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's literally the best thing you can do. Other than, yeah, I mean, trying to spend some time in figuring out why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because those are responses, usually those are responses to things going on around you, and you're supposed to listen to them so you can pick up on their cues to understand who you are and understand what's going on in the world and the way you feel about the world, so that you can use that for good. I mean, honestly, if you don't get angry about certain things that are terrible in the world, it's like, well, how are you going to fix it? The anger is there to be energy to drive you to doing something, into action, right? So anger is a great source of fuel for doing good. But if you don't know why you feel angry and you just feel angry, how are you going to know what to address, right? How are you going to know what to address with that energy? It's not going to be great. So I think it is really important for you to figure this out. But just know that even if you can't figure it out, you're not lost, right? You're still capable of doing the things that you need to do. But I mean, it's really hard, because I'm just imagine I would just sit with it and think about it really hard. And yeah, journal, write down the different, like for me, I would just write down, if I was to journal with it, which I don't usually journal, I'd usually just think, but let's say I'm journaling. I would write down the different scenarios of things that could be on this checklist, or things that, I don't know, maybe write down everything that's happened that day. And if any of those things stick out to me with like, why would I be restless? Or if it wasn't today, maybe last night, or the day before, right? What's been happening recently? Doesn't necessarily have to be within that day. Could be what's happened recently. So what kind of things have happened recently? Maybe I went to sleep later than usual or earlier than usual. Maybe I've been eating things that are out of the norm and don't realize I'm on some kind of weird sugar high or something, you know? Or maybe I drank some alcohol and this is how my body is responding to it, because it's poison and it doesn't, now it just feels really restless, which is like really weird firing of neurons everywhere. That's like, doesn't even, it's like you've got this weird tenseness in your muscles, or, it's like, what is all this sensation I'm physically feeling? It's like, it's restlessness. Okay. Why do I feel restless? It's like my head is spinning and I'm thinking all these thoughts and I can't control them, and nothing lands anywhere. It's just a bunch of random thoughts, and I've got all this energy and my muscles are firing off neurons. I can feel it inside me. It's like, what is all of this? And it's like, okay, maybe you ate something weird. Maybe you drank something you don't realize you're allergic to, or maybe it's like literally something that's been happening over the week and you've just been putting it off and you've not been thinking about it, and it's been on your mind, but you haven't given it time yet. And so maybe you need to give it time, right? There's so many things. So I would write down a big list of all the possibilities, right? And then I would ponder each one. I'd think about it and I'd be like, well, let's cover this one. Is there any reason why this would be it or would not be it? And just kind of think about it for a while and then go to the next one. And if any of them on the list really stand out, like, okay, this is a possibility, this has some real merit to it, okay, we'll circle that one. And then, keep on going down the list, and then I'll circle the other ones that I feel like have some honest potential for being why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Then I have a couple of contenders, and then I could address them each, maybe throughout the coming days. Try to pay attention. Do I feel restless on the next day, or the next day after, or during the next week? And are any of the things I marked back a week ago happening on this day that I'm restless, or happening the days before? Like if I wrote down I drank like a lot of sugar that day, I would have that one circled, right? That one's a contender. I drank a lot of sugar, or I ate a bunch of nuts. I ate like a crazy amount of nuts the day before or 2 days before. It's like that's a slow burn, and then finally those sugars have been in my body. I'm freaking out. I don't know why I'm freaking out in the morning or whatever, right? So I've got my contenders. I've circled them, and then a week later, or the next time I get this crazy restless feeling, I go back to that page and I go, okay, are any of these things happening in my life currently to make me feel restless today? And go through that list and see if any of them, even just little pieces of them, like this one, I pointed to something that was disturbing me the night before, or I watched this show, I watched a movie, it's like, okay, that I did that too. I did that again, and that, whatever, that's maybe that's what's triggering me. So that's what I would do. I would go through it systematically like that until I've kind of helped myself figure out some real contenders and studied them. I think the main thing you need to do here is try to learn about you. And I know that's what you're trying to do, but what I'm saying is I don't think you have the skill right now to identify why you feel restless. So because you don't have that skill yet, because you haven't figured out what makes you restless, all you can do is put down the contenders, your best guesses. And eventually, over time of experiencing this restless feeling and equating it to your list of contenders each time it happens, eventually over time, you'll find some of the common denominators of things that make you feel restless. If it's not something that immediately jumps out to you when the moment happens that you start to feel restless. But if there's a moment where you start to feel restless, like it's just like, bam, I feel restless out of nowhere. What's going on around you? Take note. Do your best to take inventory. Whether like, what's the lighting in the room? What's the thing going on around me? What's my task list for the day right now? How far have I gotten on that? What is, how long did I sleep? Try to just take a quick inventory at that moment. Maybe write it down in your journal of, I got restless at this time, this was going on, blah, blah, blah. Anything that's on your mind, anything that was on your mind at the moment that it happened, to the best of your ability. Obviously, our minds are flying by sometimes, and it's hard to quite pinpoint, but maybe do something like that. Take inventory as soon as it starts to happen, or you start to feel it, or as soon as you recognize it. Sometimes, you might recognize it a little bit late. But anyways, that's the best I got for you. Trying to figure out what it is so that you can understand yourself and why you feel restless. It's like, yeah, I think that's a really difficult thing, because being in touch with your emotions is a skill and it's a practiced thing, and understanding yourself and which receptors get fired off of based on what's happening in the world and around you. It's something that you learn over time. It's something that on many emotions, it comes naturally, and you're just like, oh yeah, these are the kinds of things that make me sad. These are the kinds of things that make me happy. It's like I recognize them because they happened often enough as I was growing up that it was obvious and easy enough for me to just kind of pattern recognition them. But something like this, that's like just restlessness, that can be really hard to figure out the pattern. It's a pattern recognition thing, and you might not have that pattern established yet. And you don't even know where to begin with pointing it out. So that's what I think the best thing to do is just try to look for the patterns the best you can. And eventually, hopefully, at some point, one day when you get restless, it will just be the same as like when when something bad happens and you feel sad. And you're like, well, I know what makes me sad. Obviously, it's the bad thing that happened. And for you, it'll be like, well, I know what makes me restless. It's that thing that happened, or that thing I thought of, or the night before. Obviously, it's that. So you don't even have to think twice about that. That's obviously restless because of that, you know? So that's my best for you. I know that sounds like a roundabout way to say a whole lot of nothing almost, but I hope that it was helpful. I really hope that was helpful because it's the best I got.
That wasn't a whole
Anyways,
lot of nothing. You took half of my response.
okay, great. Wow. You know, half of nothing is nothing. 0 times 0.5 is 0. Okay, sorry. Well, at least it's half. I mean, that's maybe that means that means you should be talking for the next hour. So I'm excited for
Well,
that.
I don't know about talking for the next hour. I mean, you did take half of it.
Yeah, I did. Hi, Dill. Nice to see you.
Yes,
Um, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, Joe, it's all yours. Take it away. That was my best I got. I hope that was helpful. I really do.
it was helpful. Trust me.
Okay.
I'll
Good.
just speak out loud.
You'll just speak for Anon. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're welcome, Anon. Glad that was helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Anonymous, for the topic, and thank you, Ryan, for that, and for taking half of my response, because yeah, so you said sometimes you feel restless but struggle to figure out how or why, and those are really important questions to ask yourself, like Ryan was talking about. Neon's Wednesday says in the chat, I mean, first question, is it important to know why in the first place? Which is also a good question. Because maybe the question should just be, what action can I take to move forward? If I start thinking why, I just go in circles. And yeah, so sometimes that's the case. And I think from my perspective and the things I've dealt with and what I've done in my journaling and when I've felt restless in any kind of regard, I think it's important to do both. It's important to think in terms of how can I move forward, because sometimes we don't know why, like Ryan was talking about. Sometimes it's just like we feel this way, we don't even really know what started it. And sometimes what we need to take inventory of in our journaling is figuring out, what is this feeling of restlessness? And so I started not too long ago. I learned some somatic practices. Somatic is having to do with the body and physical sensation, like stuff like that. Like, so what is this feeling? Where is it happening in my body? Is it in my chest? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my head? Is it in my shoulders? Like where am I feeling this? And so you can start to determine, okay, I'm feeling this tension in my shoulders and my stomach's upset, and and I'm not sure what happened, but this is what I'm feeling. And it's good to kind of write that down. Like, okay, so I'm feeling restless. What is that feeling? Is it my legs? My mom used to talk about having Jimmy legs, like these restless legs. She would be trying to sleep and she'd just call it, she has the Jimmy legs. Interesting terminology. But just this restless feeling in her legs. And so she was not able to sleep then. And so she'd have to go, walk around for a little while and all that kind of stuff. And so, yes, that's very important to know, how can I respond to this feeling of restlessness to calm it down and to get back to feeling normal again, right? To feeling at peace and normal in my natural state. What kinds of things can you do? Ryan talked about that, which was really important. How, like drinking water, exercising, maybe taking a rest. Maybe you need to eat something. There's a lot of different times. Like sometimes I'm just in a bad mood and it's because I'm hungry. Right?
Yeah.
Because our
Some people get
bodies,
hungry.
we need food in order to survive. Mianglios is graciously taking food to people in his Uber Eats route, which I thank you for doing that. I've never used Uber Eats, but I might have to start. But anyways, so where was I going with all that? I don't remember. Oh, drinking water, eating, exercising. These are things. Anything like when you feel restless, exercise can be really good for it. And it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to go like do a bunch of reps at the gym or something. I mean, it could just be doing some stretching or walking around or, something. And I find stretching is really good. People will talk about Pilates or yoga, different types of things that are like that generally help you recenter yourself to kind of get back to normal. You're stretching, you're kind of moving your body, and there's a real calming effect to some of that. So, but yes, water, food, exercise, sleep. What are you eating? How much are you drinking water? And I don't know, there's water in coffee, but coffee is also a diuretic and it dehydrates you, right? And there's caffeine in there. And so I find that if
Only
I
after
drink a
the
lot of
third cup.
coffee, what's that?
I said only after the third cup.
Only after the third cup. My bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. It's really weird. It actually hydrates you. Apparently, the first 1 or 2 cups hydrate you, and the third cup starts to dehydrate you. Something like
that's
that.
interesting. That's an interesting
Yeah.
hypothesis that I find to be
It
partially
seems like
true.
something that we'd have to look up and research more because I don't know. This is what I've heard.
True. I can tell you personally, if I drink coffee before I drink water,
Oh,
then I don't feel as good.
oh,
So I
interesting.
usually have to start my day by drinking
Well, that kind of
water.
makes sense.
Drink at least the amount of coffee I'm going to drink, I drink in
Mhm.
water first.
Yeah.
And then coffee after that. And then I feel a lot better than if I just had coffee to start with. Um
Yeah.
so
Okay.
but yeah, so how hydrated are you? How much water are you drinking? What kind of food you eating? How much sleep are you getting? And then what kind of how are you moving your body? Are you exercising at all? Are you blowing off some of the steam sometimes? And but so you can journal. You can kind of take an assessment of yourself and where you're at with all of that. Okay, so I have not exercised yet today. I'm feeling restless. I've drank a fair amount of water, whatever. I ate McDonald's, and so that might be the answer right there. You might have ate McDonald's, and then all of a sudden you feel dumpy. I know that that's a thing for me. If I eat McDonald's,
Me too.
oh, I just
Yeah,
don't
me
feel
too.
good afterwards, man.
Not at all. I don't know how people eat McDonald's because it's like I get that feeling every time.
I don't know. I think we get used to it. There was a time in my life when
Uh,
I could eat McDonald's all the time, and it wouldn't make me
mhm.
feel bad. But maybe I just didn't know how good I would feel. It was interesting because
It stopped.
I went
Yeah.
to I went to the gym with my son and we were playing basketball and then he was like, "I'm feeling really weak, Dad." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's go eat." And they have like this, it's like a fitness club, right? And so they have a restaurant in there and they have all this stuff. And it's like, "Well, we haven't eaten the food in this place yet. Let's go try it." And so we went in there and we ate and it was it was astounding to me how good I felt after eating that food. It came from a health
Hmm.
club. It was healthy food, and it really just kind of pointed out to me, through that experience, it's like it matters the quality of the food you eat. Like how you
Hmm.
feel, it matters. And so like when they have high quality ingredients, high quality food, you know, I just felt really good after eating it. It was just a BLT sandwich, like a bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich.
Hmm.
That was it. And I just felt really good, and it was great. Um, but those are things that we can take notice of, and we can start to kind of determine. All right, I have this restless feeling. Sometimes we want that feeling. That makes sense. A lot of times we think of restless feeling, and we think we kind of label it a bad thing. But there are times when we're like gearing up for something, and we want to feel restless.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so sometimes it's good to know how to push your buttons so you can, excuse me, make yourself feel that way in order to get ready for whatever it is you need to do. But most of the time, it's like I want to be more at peace, and I'm not at peace. What's going on? And so,
Hmm.
while yes, it's good to know what you can do to move forward, I think it's also valuable to figure out what caused it. So, and yes, sometimes you can go around in circles, like you said, Neon's Wednesday, but like Ryan, you had some really good points in there about like, okay, take an inventory. What's going on this day? What happened right before I started feeling this restlessness, right? What kinds of things are going on in my life? Because a lot of times stress can be cumulative. And so it might be a whole bunch of things kind of piling up. And this whole week you've been dealing with one thing after another, after another, after another. And then all of a sudden this one thing happens. And then all of a sudden you feel restless and you're like, why am I so upset? I don't even know why I'm so upset. It was just this one little thing. But it's not just that one little thing. It's all these other things that have been happening throughout the day. And you know what? Now that I think about that, you know how I mentioned before you talked, Ryan, about how the other day I was feeling all charged up,
Hmm.
right? Well,
Yeah.
that now I think back, I think about that day and I think about all the different things that happened that day. And I'm like, well, wait a second, this was a cumulative effect of a whole
Mm.
bunch of different minor stressors that
Sure.
then just added up and left me to this point of just like, now I'm all just jacked, right? And sometimes it can be a big thing. Sometimes it can be, one incident that just totally hijacks you. That happens too. A lot of times
Hmm.
those are easier to pinpoint, but sometimes they take a
Yep.
while. Sometimes you just like all of a sudden I feel this way. I don't know why I feel this way. Why am I like panicking? I don't understand, right? And then you figure out, oh, I have this certain trigger based on this other experience that I had that now whenever I see this or am around this type of environment, I get like high anxiety and panicky, right? And that can happen too. And so a lot of times we have these things and sometimes they're based in childhood and they're a memory that we don't even know. We don't even remember. So I guess it's not a memory because we don't even have the memory. But our nervous system, our body
Mm.
remembers it, but we can't like think of the thing that it was. And then so yeah, then it's good to kind of pay attention to what kinds of things make you feel this way. And so those are some questions you can ask in your journaling. You can ask, okay, what is this feeling? Like, where am I feeling it? What kind of a feeling is it? Is it painful? Is it just this stress? Like whatever. And so see if you can describe the feeling that you're feeling. And that'll now you have more of a definition of what this restlessness is, right? And then think through what was happening right before I felt this. Where were my physical needs taken care of? Drinking water, eating food, getting good sleep, exercise, those things, kind of take an idea. Okay, how was my day with regard to that stuff? And then also, what has been happening in my life? What kind of things is going on? Like are finals coming up? Am I facing this big, huge presentation that I got to turn in? Like, is my business struggling? Am I in danger of losing my job? There's all kinds of different,
Hmm.
environments that we live in that can cause these feelings to happen.
Yeah, many
Um,
times it might not even be something that's happened, but a dread for the future,
yep,
something that's coming up. Yeah.
yep. Absolutely. So you can kind of take inventory of that in your journaling. Ask, you can ask, what's this feeling like? What's going on with my physical needs? And then what's going on in my life around this? Like what just happening? Because they don't have to even be related, right? It can just be maybe stress is piling up because of all these things. And maybe, like Ryan said, maybe it's just the apprehension based on a future event. And so your mind gets consumed by, anxiety about, this thing that's coming up for you. Um, so those are all factors that you can take into account. If you're having trouble figuring this out, you're journaling, you're doing all this kind of stuff, and you're having trouble figuring out. I like Neon's Wednesday saying, like, well, maybe I should focus on how to move forward. That's very good. And sometimes we also need to deal with what is causing it in order to move forward. Does that make sense? So sometimes our pathway forward is to deal with the thing that's causing the problem. And so then in that case, it's good to know what the problem is. Now, if it's just like a minor restlessness and you find you can get by okay and you can do these things and your life isn't super disrupted because of it, you might be able to just kind of, okay, it's not that big of a deal. I can figure this out. I don't have to figure it out immediately, but I'm going to start trying. And you can figure these things out on your own and things can smooth out. If it's disrupting your life and it's causing great obstacles for you in your work life or in your relationships or whatever, it might be good to find a counselor, somebody who can help you kind of make sense of all this stuff and give you techniques to handle it. I know that that's generally when I know it's time to find a counselor, is when it's disrupting my life. When I can't live my day-to-day existence because I have this restlessness or this anxiety or these feelings that are happening, and it's totally messing my ability up, messing up my ability to live. At that point, then I know, okay, I probably need to find a counselor. I need to find somebody who's impartial. Friends are great, and you need your friends around you too to support you. But then sometimes it's very appropriate to find a professional who's not a friend, who's a counselor, somebody who can objectively look at your life situation and help you zero in on these things without judgment, and they're not attached to you or the situation at all, right? This is a total outside party that has professional training in this area. Those can be very, very important people to find if this situation is disrupting your life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I have. Welcome, Skillful Films. Good to see you. Yeah. You just had an Italian sub, and you still want more. Wait, an Italian sub from the Italian Navy. This is Jersey Mike's, though. Jersey Mike's is really good. I like Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, that's the one I haven't eaten yet. I've never been to a Jersey Mike's.
There's a Jersey Mike's right near you.
Is there? I didn't even know about it.
Yeah. I've eaten at it multiple times. I ate at that Jersey Mike's when I was working on your house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, science rocks. Yeah.
Welcome. Good to see you. So anyway, Anonymous, that's hopefully some of that can be helpful for you. Ryan, did you have anything else to say about this?
My final note on this is one more in the spiritual direction. And I think it's worth covering, though, Anonymous, I'm not sure that you are a religious person whatsoever. But I think just for the sake of the possibility, what's your spiritual life like? And keep in mind that I don't know, it depends. It's hard to, because I don't know you or where you're positioned in life as, or your spirituality or anything, but let's just say if there is a spiritual world and there's a spiritual war going on around you, it would what you do throughout your days plays a big role in the impact of these things. So let's say you could be spending time entertaining yourself or entertaining the thoughts that are evil, or just spending your time watching things that are infested with evil things, let's say. And those things could lead to spiritual wounds, let's call it. And so just maybe pay attention to that. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is angels and demons, and and you're not alone out there. Um, so I'd say if you want a deeper dive on that, then go ahead and send a topic in about that. I think that would be a worthwhile topic to cover. But I don't really want to dig too much into it because, again, I'm not necessarily sure on your position there. And I think a lot of people probably wouldn't know what to make of that, heads or tails of anything. But I think it's worth having a topic. It's also a really big topic.
Yeah,
So
it is.
it's also a really big topic. So
It's
I
rich
would
in
say,
content.
yes, rich in content. So I would just summarize it as what you do matters and it impacts how you feel. And it could impact how you feel days later. And so what you're inviting into your life through your actions, through your words, through your thoughts, through whatever, what you're inviting into your life spiritually is going to spiritually and emotionally and physically potentially affect you. And so I would say be guarded, be wise, be virtuous, and it's a good way to go. But if it's not a topic you're interested in or feel like is a reality you need to contend with, then I mean, don't worry about it, I guess. Well, because it's Don't Worry Wednesdays, so you shouldn't be worrying about it.
Yeah,
So
don't be
that's
worrying
why.
about it on Wednesdays.
Yeah, but if it's something you're interested in hearing more about, you're absolutely free, or anybody in the chat wants to hear more about something like that, obviously you can send a topic and we'll give our best. Obviously, we aren't masters of anything. Again, our disclaimer at the beginning of this show should be re-emphasized. We aren't professional theologians, psychologists, or anything. So yeah,
I'm one
I
of
would
the
just say
masters of the universe. I don't know about you.
no, I'm not.
Oh.
You should know about me.
You're right, I
The
do.
heck?
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. You do know
I
about me,
know about
Joe.
you. I know about you.
Yeah, come
Man,
on,
I
what the
tell you what is
don't even lie. You don't know about me. Okay, anyways.
Skillful Films has in the chat, but to add to the discussion, one question to ask is, what am I afraid of and why? That's a
That
really
is a
good
very good.
question to ask. Yes.
Mhm.
And also pay attention to the kind of story you're telling yourself. Is it positive, negative? Why are you thinking that way? What can you do to change it or confront it?
That's really good too.
Yes. Those are
Yeah,
very, very good questions to ask in your journaling.
those are. Mhm.
So you can grab a hold of that and throw that into the series of questions you're asking yourself.
Honestly, it's better than anything I even said. So that's it. There you go. That was really good. That
Good
was
job.
great.
See, some of the best stuff comes from the chat. It comes from you guys
Mhm. Yeah.
telling you, So
Mhm.
keep sending stuff in the chat. Don't be puffed in us.
Oh, there's a couple T's there. Hold on. How many two T's? Okay.
Puffed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. It's okay.
Oh dear.
You have a
Uh,
lot of experience with these questions. That's good.
yeah. That's good. We all should. Oh,
Oh man.
capitals
So
even.
now you're getting a little
That's not
bit
even gonna come through.
now you're getting a little crazy.
Yeah. We're gonna have to stop you. I'm
um,
kidding.
it's
Do as much as you
interesting.
want.
I'm in the middle of a book right now. It's called Taming Your Amygdala.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by who's it by? I just had it. By Dr. Catherine Pittman.
We do have
Um,
another topic, by the way. I'll
Perfect.
go ahead and
All
I'll
right.
go ahead and
I will.
curate it while
I
you're
will
going.
go ahead and you go ahead and.
I'll go ahead and you go ahead and.
All right. Perfect. So there's this book, Taming Your Amygdala, and I can definitely recommend this book. I'm going through it right now, and it's very interesting because, um, as you're learning about this, the amygdala is the portion of your brain that handles the fight, flight, or freeze response. It kind of just takes over and hacks, like our brain just gets hacked, and that's the amygdala taking over when we get into that mode. And what I'm learning as I go through this book is a lot of times that's very, these things happen and we don't have any control over them happening. It's just a matter of how do we then deal with it once we're there. However, one of the things they started with in this book was they're like, okay, what are your goals? What are some of your life goals? What are some things that as you look at your life that you want to envision, because a lot of these things, when you're not on track with that, you're a lot more susceptible to getting thrown into your limbic system, which is the same as the amygdala, right? But so having this holistic approach of, okay, where am I going from here? And then also what is causing this? The thing is the stronger you are in just being overall healthy, like we talked about with the physical things, and then also having your kind of life purpose in order and some goals and some things that you're going for, the stronger you are with all of that, the easier it is to handle these things in your amygdala. And it's easier to cope with these things and pull yourself out of the limbic system and back into cognitive thinking, more of a logic type response. So, Taming Your Amygdala by Dr. Catherine Pittman. I'm in the middle of it right now, and I'm learning a lot. And this might be something, if you're a reader, you might give that book a look. So, just something to think about. But curated. It's even been curated. I'm going to switch back and forth between me and Ryan because apparently I can't figure out my thing. All right, there we go.
Fantastic, Joe. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing well.
I do my best, man, and sometimes it's just what it is,
That's all you can do.
The On's Wednesday, you would like to read more. Like read more books?
Yeah, I think that's about what she means.
All right. Well, the question I would have is what's stopping you?
More than I do now, which is 0. You know what? That's not true. I watch you read. You read quite a bit, but you just don't read books.
Mm.
My wife reads every day, a lot, because she's talking to Claude, who is an AI responding to her questions, which is in the form of a chat, which she has to read.
I see.
Usually questions like, how does this medicine work and what does it do and things like that.
Gotcha.
Or plant stuff, like what do I need, what kind of ratios do I need for this plant? Nutrient ratios, not newts as in the animal.
Right. Newts. N-U-T-E-S. Newts.
Yeah.
Not N-E-W-T-S.
Yeah, nutrients.
Right. Yeah, I remember learning all about newts when I worked at an indoor grower supply store for a few months there. Yeah. Learned all about different nutrients and stuff. Like I struggle keeping plants alive. I can't even imagine trying to have an animal that I'm responsible for. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. But yeah, Skillful Films, audiobooks are a great way to do that. I agree. I listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
Like
I like those too.
Almost like most of the time throughout the day, I have Audible open. And I'm learning about something. Recently it's been like psychology and philosophy, right? But yeah. Books are great. You can learn a lot. I argue with authors because, I've learned things that, contradict some things that authors say. And one of the things to remember is that a person wrote this. It doesn't.
That's the hardest
part. Right? And people make mistakes and people are misinformed sometimes, right? And so people can write all kinds of stuff. You can't listen to Audible because you like taking notes. You can't get through.
Pause it. I don't know though.
I don't know. I
Yeah, you'd have
mean,
to replay
then
it
don't
though.
then
That's
don't do
another thing.
Audible. Get some books. Taming Your Amygdala.
I can't get through one line without arguing with the author. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I like reading. I read a lot, and that was one of the things when I started when I went to therapy. My therapist would like send me just say, "Okay, you might want to take a look at this book." And then by the next week, I'd had like 3/4 of the book read. And she's like, "Oh, you actually take this seriously." And I'm like, "Yeah, you gave me a book recommendation. I'm going to get the book and I'm going to read it." And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, here's 3 more." And I'm like, "Well, don't overwhelm me now." What's the
So
most
she's
important one next? Like,
yeah, my goodness. And then you show up and you've read 4
right,
because you take extra
exactly.
credit and you're like
If you okay, if you ever need book recommendations, ask Ryan. He'll tell you who to ask.
you. I'll tell you to ask Joe. How to have friends and win confidence. Wait, how to win
How to
confidence
win
and win
confidence
friends
and power with
with
selling.
yes, selling and yes,
And it's
that's right. That's
magic.
the one. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yes. How to
Hmm.
Win Friends and Influence People is a very good book by Dale Carnegie. Yes. I've read that a few times. It's not the best people skills book I've ever come across though.
By Dale Robert Ziegler.
Schwartz.
Schwartz. Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's a great starting point. You're absolutely right. Um yeah, my favorite book on people skills is How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. I know I've said that a
That was the one I meant.
billion times on this
Yeah.
stream, but yeah, that's my favorite people skills book. Another one that's not very well known is called Success with People by I think it's a guy named Cavett Robert.
Hmm.
Um that one is so
Yeah.
Success with People. Like I remember recommending it to a guy and I'm like, "Look, if you're going to read this book, your heart needs to be in the right place because like some of the stuff in here kind of borders on manipulation."
Mm.
So, because there are things you can guide people in certain directions through
Mm.
certain ways of triggering things and whatnot.
Hmm.
So just,
Yeah.
it can be used for good or bad, you
Hmm.
know?
I remember I sat down with someone once and they were concerned about that. And I was like, it's like you've got a good heart. There's not something you need to worry about, but we're always manipulating people. Anytime you have a conversation with anyone ever,
Mm-hmm.
you're manipulating them because literally that's the conversation is to manipulate a relationship, hopefully in the way that you're manipulating it to become better
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, or you're trying to get something out of the conversation. It doesn't have to be a good thing or a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing just to manipulate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But technically, we're always manipulating by the technical sense of manipulation, what it is. So it's like it's a malleable thing, therefore it's manipulated, and so it's yeah. But yeah, you have to have a good heart for
Mm-hmm.
sure,
Mm-hmm.
which does tie into our next topic. So
Does it
we can
really?
go on that. Hmm.
Well, let me reload this tab so I can actually see what this is.
Hmm.
Conversationalisms.
That's what I named it. It's not even a real word.
It's not.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's do this topic. Anonymous, thank you for the topic. We appreciate you so much. And hopefully some of that's
Hmm.
helpful for you. Go back and listen to what Ryan had to say. Go back and check out the chat. There was good stuff in the chat. So yeah. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful. We have another one from Anon. I wonder if it's the same person.
Oh.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. We're gonna find out. Actually, we're not gonna find out who it was. So sorry. We're gonna find
We'll
out.
find out.
We're gonna find out what this topic's all about. It's gonna be great. So I'm gonna put this up on the screen. and you guys can read along with me while I read it
Mhm.
aloud. This is called Conversationalisms from Anonymous. And it reads like this: I enjoy socializing and struggle with creating conversations I'm interested in. I feel the need to participate in conversation to show that I am invested in the relationship. To show that I care, I initiate, I ask questions, but I have no desire to hear the answer. Not because I don't care what people have to say, but because I asked a boring question. Sometimes I ask questions that I think the other person would be interested in, even though I'm not invested in the topic at all. I'd like to feel like I'm enjoying conversations rather than zoning out while loved ones talk to me or just having no idea what they're talking about. Boring stuff is okay, of course, because very often I just like to hear my loved ones talking to me at all because I like the feeling that we are engaging in conversation because it feels like we are getting closer in our relationship. All that being said, how can I figure out more interesting questions to ask people? And maybe, how can I be more interested in the boring stuff people talk about? From Anonymous. And Skillful Film
Mhm.
says, relatable. I also can relate. Sometimes you're just asking
Yeah.
questions to help people feel comfortable. I totally get the idea where it's like, the more people are talking, the more it feels like we're, building our relationship or building our friendship, or building our bond, whatever. Um, and then, yeah, but sometimes the topics are just not all that interesting. So, how can you figure out more interesting questions to ask people? Well, I mean, I'm going to turn this over to Ryan in a second, but I would say just one thing that you can do is become what I've heard called a prodigious noticer,
Mm.
where you just notice things around the room, around the world, around what's going on, just noticing some weird things. And it can be just like, man, like, I mean, people, you'd be like, well, we talk about the weather. That's like classic, oh boy, it's nice out today, or boy, it's hot out today, or boy, it's cold out and it's rainy and it's miserable. And I'll say things like, it might be cold, but at least it's raining.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
you can bring some, you can make some jokes and whatnot and kind of lighten things up. But um, I would just say, notice things around you, notice what people are wearing, notice what is going on. And then you can just mention it or ask about it, and then you might be surprised at how far a conversation can go based on, that's a weird color blue in that painting. you know like
Yeah.
and then the conversation might just go. And just because, here's the interesting thing, just because you start with a certain topic or you ask about a certain thing with somebody, and um just because you ask that and that's where the conversation starts, doesn't mean that's what you have to limit the conversation to. It can go on in all kinds of different directions. And I have a few ways that you can possibly do that. But first, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan and let Ryan talk. I've seen him, talk to people. I've seen, anytime anybody has a conversation with Ryan, I can't imagine a person leaving with a bad taste in their mouth or with a bad attitude or whatever, because Ryan just has this way of, when you talk to him, you just feel good. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about the situation. He's just so good at drawing out the good in other people. So
Well, thank you.
I'm really interested to hear what Ryan
Cool.
has to say. So start talking.
Start talking. I love that. That's great. Start talking. I'm interested. We have to say so. Start talking. I like that. That's a good line you could use. I
Yes.
like that. That's so fun. Um, yeah, honestly, I have to applaud you already though. I want to applaud you on the fact that you're um, engaging, you're starting up conversations, the fact that you are asking questions that you know you're not really interested in, but you're still doing it just to engage with them. I think there's something nice and good about that because, yeah, I think if the person likes talking about something, even if you don't care about the subject, it's it is nice. It's a kind thing to do, to bring it up just to excite them and let them have their time to enjoy whatever it is. But the reality is, though, I think it's hard. I think the true reality is, outside of just I guess the nature of being, good-hearted and wanting them to have a nice time, the reality is the relationship itself doesn't necessarily blossom in those experiences. If you're just being a buffer zone or a wall to bounce off of. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean to say discontinue doing that. But what I'm saying is, I think there's definitely a lot more that comes from a conversation two people can be fully engaged in, compared to a conversation that only one person's actually engaged in, right? And if you're kind of just being a wall that isn't quite capable of, really even capable of fully engaging in the conversation, if that's where you rest a majority of the time, I think you're kind of doing the relationship a disservice. And I don't mean to be harsh on you at all, by the way. Because again, the reason I am saying I'm applauding you for doing that, because it shows that you care. It shows that you're interested in the person. It shows that you are willing to sort of bite the bullet at times and just go on with a conversation that isn't for you, it's for them, and I think that's a good thing to do. It's a beautiful thing. But I also think you're right that the whole, like, you should be posting this topic, right? Your desire to ask more interesting questions, or be more interested in the boring stuff, I think that's well-founded. And so I guess what I'm saying is, I think your mind is in the right spot in all of this. I think,
Yes.
you're interested in the person, and I think that's awesome. And so again, I'm just applauding you, and I think you've got a lot of things right already, especially with where your heart is in all of this. And sometimes, there are going to be occasions, no matter how good of a conversationalist you are or whatever, you're going to run into times where you're just not really interested in the conversation, but you're going to let it go on because you know that the other person's getting a kick out of it, and I think that's cool. But I don't think it's necessarily great to be fake with the person, right? Because if you do that, you are letting on to something that you're not, and they're going to get a vision of you that's not catered to you. It's catered to something that you catered for them. And that's not very useful. What I mean is, if you act like, let's say you're not interested in tractors at all, but they are. So you ask them about tractors all the time because they have an infinite amount of things to say about it, because they heckin' love tractors. It's their thing, And so you're just like, I know how to engage with this person. I'll talk to them about tractors, even though you do not care about tractors at all. The unfortunate thing that is going to end up happening is, they're gonna, like, basically that's where the conversation is gonna go a lot of time. They're gonna get the wrong impression of you, and they're going to be talking about tractors with you. And in order to engage with you, in order to engage in conversation, in order to treat you with a bit of intentional kindness, they're gonna be like, hey, tractors and stuff. And so what I mean is, that's not who you are. And so if they're interacting with you in a way that's not who you are, then the relationship has a falsehood or a misunderstanding in it. And that misunderstanding is going to be more destructive than it is going to be good. And so at certain times, it might actually be better for you to sort of disengage and be real to yourself and real to the relationship, so that the relationship isn't on the wrong footing, in an imbalanced state, in a state that's easily toppled over because they've had the wrong understanding of you the whole time, because they don't know who you are, because you've just been catering to them, right? And so there are times that probably would be more beneficial for the relationship and for them, even in their own joy, to just say, it's like, I'm not really into tractors all that much. I know you are, it's awesome that you are. It's interesting to hear some of the things that I've learned about them through you, but I'm just not really that into them. But I do like this aspect of them. And then maybe you go into that aspect and like carry on a conversation. Sometimes it's okay to just not really have much of a response to things, because it's just not your thing. You're not interested. I think there's a lot to be said for becoming interested in boring stuff. But as long as it's not a facade or leading people down the wrong direction, right? There are like things that I'm not interested in, like cars or tractors or things that are like most vehicle stuff. I'm not really that interested. But it doesn't mean that it's necessarily boring. I can engage with people on things that I don't know much about because I'm not interested in them, and not necessarily have to be bored. I will say that there comes a time where that will be a lot of energy spent and you might walk away being very drained, but you have your own mind and you can decide to be interested in things, because there's a lot of things you're interested in and not interested in, and it's all sort of just limbo. It's all kind of a point of view. It's a perspective thing. And while cars might not interest me on the day-to-day, if someone's really into something, I can go like, well, I want to learn about it. Tell me about it. I don't know much about that. What would you say to someone like me who's a beginner, to get me up to date and like understand like what these are and be genuinely interested? And you can do that, and I think that's good. And so, like, that's an example of it's sort of putting yourself on the spot rather than just asking a question and leaving it to them. Put yourself on the spot, so you have to engage. So again, like something like, hey, I don't know much about this. What would you say to someone who's a beginner like me to, get them up to speed in this sort of thing, or to introduce them in a way that would be exciting, or, etc. Because that's actually where you stand. You're putting your real self in that scenario, and then they're talking to you. They're not talking to someone who knows stuff about cars or is interested in cars. They're talking to someone who you've correctly categorized yourself as someone who's not interested that much. And it gives them an opportunity to talk to you, and also gives you an opportunity to engage them at the level that you actually are at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's offering something of a more realistic experience than just asking some questions you don't really care what they say, because you're not honestly gonna walk away from it trying to remember the things they said, because it's not something you're interested in, etc. But you're not really there because you didn't put yourself in that spot. You're just sort of asking to entertain them, or really you're asking for them to entertain themselves, right? So, and you get to participate, but you kind of zone out. And I think that'd be a very normal response, to kind of zone out in that scenario. So, and maybe you do that. Maybe what I just suggested is something you do, but that would be something that I'd say I would do if I felt like it was needed that a conversation would be had. Now, for me, I think a lot of times I don't need to create a conversation. I don't need to start one, right? Generally speaking, I'm okay if there's no conversation going on. If I'm just sitting there with someone and there's nothing being said, like, that's totally comfortable for me. And it's kind of like we're bonding. You bond in the silence. And
yes, that's true.
So, yeah, you bond in the silence. Yeah. And it's like, there's a more spectacular deepness and a real, in a way, like a sense of comfort when you can sort of bond in the silence, right? It's like you know the person in a stronger, connected way. And so for me, I'm not always quick to attempt to start a conversation or to create a conversation or, say things just to get the person going. I think a lot of times if a conversation is to die out, I just let it. I just let it die. Because I think at some point I learned to embrace the awkward. And that was a lot of fun for me. But eventually, it doesn't become awkward anymore. And you can just find nuggets of gold in that silence or, whatever. And so, um, coming from my position, I'd say that maybe some of the best advice I could give you is don't try to create conversations sometimes. Sometimes it's much better. And there are times where it is important to create conversation or, you know, um, just had a little bit of a experience. Like if I'm with a stranger, I'm being towed in I'm in their tow truck. I might strike up a conversation, ask them questions, um, laugh with them, do some, just talk about stuff. Um, that would be one experience because I'm not going to necessarily bond with them in the silence if I'm in a tow truck. Generally, if I just don't say anything and they don't say anything, it's sort of like one of those like, well, I don't know them, they don't know me, and it's like we didn't learn about anything about each other during that ride, and that's a whole different experience. But I think if it's someone that you do know and you've been around a lot and um, you're friends with, the silence is a different sort of structured part of your relationship, and it means more, and it's a more depthy thing than the silence of someone you've never really met before.
Mm.
So, but anyways, I think so. One of my responses to this is don't worry too much about keeping a conversation alive or trying to create conversations. But of course, it depends on who you're with. And then the other part again is be honest about your position in the conversation. If you're not really that interested in cars, don't let on like you are. Just say, I'm not really interested in cars all that much, but it's kind of fun to learn about some things sometimes. Like how does that part of the car work? That's always been weird to me. Like I turn this button on and now suddenly there's cold air or hot air coming out. And how does it come out of the same machine? Like what is going on there? That doesn't make sense. I've always wanted to know why that works or how that works the way it works. You can be interested in little parts of something, little details, even if you're not interested in the whole. Usually, any kind of thing someone is interested in has little mechanics that you're interested in that are outside of the whole scope. So, like I said, with cars, it might be something in a car, like something very specific that you've encountered and dealt with and you're wondering how that works, or you've always wanted to ask someone. It might be like they're interested in a card game that you know nothing about, and you're like, maybe you're like, there's this weird thing in that card game. It's like how do you know when this is blah blah blah, the other thing, whatever. Asking these little oh hey Riley, welcome. Asking these kinds of sort of questions I think is where you actually can engage with is more important than having them engage sort of with themselves, just to egg them on or keep them going. Though I will say, again, it is rather charitable for you to do that. And I mean charitable in a good way. It is charitable for you to do that, but I don't think it necessarily gives a relationship its best. Because the best relationship is when you are also applying yourself, right? Both people are. So, oh, hi Wix. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, I don't know this person, but it's awesome they're here. But okay, Wix, that makes way more sense. Anyways, that's what I'm going to start with. Conversations. There's a lot to be said. I'm interested in seeing what Joe has to say about this. What more Joe wants to say about this. But yeah, that's the best I've got to start with. And I'll probably be coming up with some things along the way. But I hope that as a starter is useful. And interesting, and something that you didn't have to zone out when I responded. Hopefully I wasn't too boring with my delivery. I know that I can be.
Oh my
Especially if
gosh,
you're
I
not
was so
interested.
bored while you were talking. Oh my
It's like the
gosh.
question. It'd be hilarious. That would be like what's that called? Inception or something. If you ask this question knowing that we would have a response and engage with it, but you were going to be totally bored with this question. And so this is like you're actually doing the thing you said you were doing in the thing while it's happening. Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious. But anyways, I hope that that wasn't a boring response for you. And I hope that you were genuinely interested in the response and that you got something out of my response. Anyways, that's what I've got. Go ahead, Joe. It's all yours.
Ah.
Start talking. I'm excited to see what
That's
you've
our
got to
new thing.
say.
That's the
So
new thing
start
we're gonna just
saying.
say to each other now. Start talking.
Start talking.
Perfect. So welcome, Wix, and yeah, no worries about being late. We're usually late too, so it's okay. Yeah, but Skillful Films has some cool stuff in the chat. You can always ask some follow-up questions, good conversation, oftentimes either good back and forth or one person getting the other to talk about themselves. Yes, this is very true. Because sometimes
That's funny.
one of the ways I've found to make a conversation interesting, whether you're interested in the topic or not, is it all has to do with your mindset. Because a lot of times we get focused on the topic of conversation. We're like, oh my gosh, I've never had any interest in this thing at all. And so now I got to listen to this. And so like our mental state can kind of get a little bit defunct because we're in this conversation that we don't have much interest in. You know, like Ryan talked about cars. I don't really have much interest in talking about cars with people because I don't really, it's not in my field of interest. However, there are people that I was family members with that were way into cars. And so one thing, one of the things that when I shifted my mindset a little bit, things got a little bit easier. And the mindset was to ask people questions as if you're digging for gold.
I see.
You know? And so when you ask somebody something, now how do we even start? Because sometimes it's like we're in the middle of this conversation and it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm in this thing and it's something I'm not very interested in. So I don't have a whole lot of things to add to this conversation. And we can feel a little bit lost. We can feel a little bit helpless, right? Because we're in this conversation we don't know anything about. One of the things that I've found that is a great thing to ask is, hey, how did you get into that? This thing, whatever we're talking about, whether it's tractors or trucks or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like how did you get into that? And then they'll go into their backstory a little bit on how they got into this and what kinds of things it is. Sometimes it's a really simple answer. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I'm into it. I like it. It's like, okay, well, what do you like about it? And as you ask these questions, a lot of times people will start to, they'll answer you. Strangely enough, a lot of times when you ask a question, people will answer.
That's a good question too, because you're not asking about the thing. You're actually asking more about who they are.
Exactly. You're asking about them. You're getting to know them. And this is one of the things that you had in your topic too, is because you were like, boring stuff is okay, of course, because very often I just like to hear my loved ones talking to me, right? Because you want to get to know them. You want to get to know the people. It's not about the thing as much as it is about them. I can give you a personal equivalent to that, like an experience I have that's exactly like this. My youngest son is into basketball, madly into basketball. Wants to be a professional basketball player. I mean, the kid's 14, right? And I know I'm his dad, but I mean, like, seriously, he's on track. He could, if he makes the right choices, gets the right training, and does a lot of things, he's got a shot. Because he's got a lot of skill and he's got a lot of drive, and he can totally do it. But I've never, ever in my entire life been into basketball. Like, my whole time growing up, never cared about basketball. When I was in high school, I was kind of mad at basketball players because I was a swimmer and we worked our butts off in the swimming pool. And I was just like, these basketball players, they don't even work hard, blah, 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 blah. And I find out actually they do work hard, because I'm watching my son, and the things that he's doing, right? It's just a different type of effort, right? So now, just because I'm not into basketball doesn't mean okay, but I'm definitely very into having a relationship with my son. And so I recognize that, for he and I to have a good relationship, I should take an interest in the things he's interested in, right? And it's not necessarily that I've always been interested in basketball. Like I said, I wasn't. But I'm definitely interested in a relationship with my son. And so what I do is I learn about basketball. I let him become my teacher. And because, I'm interested in him, now I'm learning all this stuff about basketball. And you know what's interesting? The more I learn about it, the more I'm, kind of into it. I'm still not a type of guy that would sit and use a whole, evening to watch a game on TV. But I will go play with my son. I'll go play basketball, and I'm now getting coached by his coaches on what kinds of things I can do when we're at the gym together to help him improve. How can I defend him? How can I guard him so that, he has to work harder? What kinds, how do you train people so that I can be doing the same things that you're teaching, and how, so he has a little bit more of what to expect. Because he told me, he was like, Dad, you got to be harder on me. Because mostly I didn't know I was doing it, and he'd just always just burn me, go make a shot, whatever. He'd just blow right past me. He's like, Dad, you got to be harder on me. I'm like, okay. So then I go talk to his coach, and I'm like, okay, how can I be harder on him? And he gave me some pointers. And so now when we go to the gym, I use these things. And it's like, guard him real close. You got to be able to smell his onion breath. And blah, blah, blah. You got to be right up in his face. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm a little bit bigger than him still. He's just now getting to the point where he's as tall as me. So he's all it won't be long and he'll be taller than me. And I'll wave the checkered flag and I'll be like, go for it, man. You grow as tall as you want. I don't care. But he still has to struggle to get around me, if I have my arms out and I'm right up in his face. Right? So, and then it's just about me planting myself so he can, work hard to try and get past me. And he's making me work too. But the point is, the point isn't to talk about basketball. The point is that that's what my son's into. And because I want a relationship with my son, now I find myself getting into it. So the interesting thing is and so now it's not as boring. Before, he'd talk about basketball and I just had no input. I had no interest in basketball, so I didn't know anything about it. So I couldn't really contribute much to the conversation. So then the conversation becomes, well, what are you into about it? What about this makes you, excited? What kinds of things do you like about this, And so then he'll show me some YouTube videos of stuff and he'll be like, check this out, And even though I never had an interest in it, I see him interested in it. And I want to foster whatever I can. I want to help in whatever way I can, right? And so like Ryan said at the beginning, Anonymous, your heart is in the right place in wanting to do this. And so then I think one of the biggest things you can do is make that mental shift from, instead of thinking about the topic and judging the conversation based on, I don't have anything to say about this topic because it's not something I'm interested in. If you're interested in them and what they have to say, if you can ask those questions about what got you into this? What do you like about it? Things about that relate to them and not just the topic at hand. Then what'll happen is they'll answer you. And as they answer, here's the part about the digging for gold, asking questions as though you're digging for gold. When you're listening to them, first of all, be present. and try to keep out of your head, oh, I have nothing to contribute to this. I'm not interested in this topic. Try and keep those thoughts out of your head. Instead, just really focus on what they're saying. And they're going to say something where you can ask another question to keep the conversation going. And those would be called signposts that I've heard said in can't remember what book it was. It's either Question Behind the Question or another one that I can't remember the title of. But they're talking about the art of conversation and looking for signposts. So when somebody responds to you, they're going to have an explanation. And then in that explanation, you can find a signpost where you can be like, oh, that's the next thing I can ask about, right? And so what got you into cars? Well, man, this engine and these cars are so cool looking, blah, 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 blah. And, and it's green too. And I'm like, oh yeah, green is a great color, right? And then, so it can be crazy. Like you can guide a conversation in any direction you want to based on picking out a portion of their response and asking about it. And here's the thing that'll happen. Because so often when we're in a conversation, we only think we're going to be good at talking about something if we have a lot of knowledge about that thing and we have a contribution to make to the conversation. But that's not true at all. You are a great conversationalist if the other person is engaged with you and talking with you. And you might say nothing. You might just ask a few questions and then let them talk. Like they might talk for an hour and you maybe said, really, why is that? And, oh, well, what made you think that? And da-da-da-da-da. And all you did was ask a few questions and they walk away from there thinking you're the best conversationalist in the entire world and you didn't say much of anything.
Yeah.
And you learn about them and you develop that relationship because the more somebody can talk about themselves, the more engaged they're going to be with you. And the more you're going to get to know them and the closer you will get in your relationship. So when I have a conversation, I don't gauge it based on, am I interested in this thing we're talking about? I'm more focused on the person. I'm interested in them and getting to know them and learning about them. And when you shift that focus, it doesn't matter what the topic is. I cannot stand politics. I can't stand talking about politics. I can't stand hearing about politics. I can't stand watching when a video comes across my feed and it's about politics. I can't stand it. But I know a lot of people are into politics. And so people will send me stuff and we'll have conversations about politics. And then I'll be like, oh, that's like a really hard one for me to get into, right? That's like my Achilles heel is to have a conversation about this. But I still have to flip myself around and say, it's not about the politics. It's about that other person. It's about figuring out what makes them tick. And you'd be like, oh, well, why did you think that about that Supreme Court decision? Or why did you think that about that policy change? Or why do you think that about our president or our vice president or our whoever, senator, representative, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It can go on and on and on, right? And it becomes a fact-finding mission about the person I'm talking to, not about the topic of conversation. Does that make sense? And when you shift your mindset like that, any conversation, no matter what it's about, can be very interesting, very rewarding, and you can learn a lot about a lot of stuff. And then what you find out is even though you have no knowledge about this stuff, now, next time I have a conversation about this, I'm actually armed with some knowledge. Like I have some things to say about it. And it's crazy. And I'm just basically, because I learned from talking to this other person, not because I was interested in that thing, but because I was interested in that person, Now I have things I can talk about with other people, and it just enriches your life, and it expands your ability to hold your own in a lot of conversations. But it all starts with taking an interest in that other person. And that's why I think Ryan said it so right when he said your heart's in the right place, because Anonymous, your heart is in the right place. And that is just understanding that you don't have to know anything about what it is they're talking about. You don't have to have an interest in it whatsoever or have any knowledge whatsoever. You can still have a great conversation because you're interested in them. And that's going to take you a long way. It'll be good. So we got a lot more stuff going on in the chat that I have not even looked at. So I'm going to bring Ryan back in here.
All right.
So now, Ryan, you're on camera.
Hey.
Hey, look at that guy, man.
Hey.
Look at him. Wait, you're here every week talking about the pharmaceutical industry?
August, well, you can read the chat, but August said they didn't know Riley. Oh, I don't think he said, whoa, hey, Riley, I'm not sure I've met you before. And I was like, come on, you know Riley. You've met Riley before.
Riley and
do you remember
Wicks.
that?
You're super into drugs. Fantastic.
I didn't say you're super into drugs. I just think you're super into saying the word drugs.
Oh yeah, that was last week. We were trying to figure out different things that could get us canceled, right, or something.
That's right. Yeah, something.
Just say all these buzzwords.
Oh no, it wasn't the thing that gets us canceled. The things that get us #1.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because the pharmaceutical companies are who are advertising on our platform. We have to say those companies in order to go up and rank for the chat.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. Opposite to cancel. Exactly. Yeah. Hey,
Anna
Taylor. Nice. Hey. Welcome.
Anna looks angry.
Yeah. Well, that's not angry.
I'm sorry.
That's just a really big smile upside down.
Yes. And Anna, I have to apologize. I see you here, and I just saw that you Discord messaged me a bunch, and I'm sorry I haven't been on Discord much lately, so I apologize. But yes, we will chat. It'll be good. Teehee.
That was going crazy. No, you're fine. It's just Wix. I didn't want to say it I didn't want to say there was Wix for Wix. I just thought I was like,
I did though. I did that.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Oh.
Did. But you didn't even notice, so maybe it went unnoticed.
I didn't even hear it. Wow.
Oh, maybe okay, good.
Wow. Good. Noise canceling. Not where I don't even need noise canceling headphones. I just have noise canceling already in my brain. It just turns on and off at random points in time. So
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, honestly what you said, Joe, was really great.
It was, wasn't it? I thought so.
It was.
I'm just kidding.
It was absolutely I'm glad I told you to start talking. Now I'm going to start talking. No.
Start talking.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Everything around me is white noise because I'm static.
Static.
Yeah, that's right. So no, I think that was really, really great. A lot of really good information you kind of gave out. And I really like the whole point to focus on them, not the article of the conversation. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about, like, ask the questions that will be about them in the scenario, not about the thing. Like if it is cars, don't ask them about, you can ask them about the topic cars, but make it about them, not about like cars, but removed from them. So instead of asking like, what is a Chevrolet Volts cardigan? And they'll be like, it's this, and they'll pull it up on their phone. And then instead ask them questions that are pertinent to you learning about them and their experiences with cars or their experiences. And I can see how that could even still be boring, but I think one of the things too is to apply yourself. Joe has a great line, and the line is something that he repeats in his head before he speaks to someone. And it's a really good line. We've all heard this line before.
Mm.
It goes, "I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you," or
Uh-huh.
"I love this person," you know. And it helps. I think it's a really great tool and practice to get your head in the right mind space for engaging with a person and actually paying attention to them. Because, it's like you're not going to betray yourself. You're not going to betray them. You're going to be paying attention. If you're saying you love somebody and you're honest about it, you're going to be pretty much interested in almost anything that they say. Now, I can understand, like, if you've been going on with someone for a couple hours, at some point you just get lost, and that's okay. Your brain, checks out and then checks back in. That's pretty normal. But you're not really talking about that. You're talking about staying interested. And so another thing you can do is, I get that it can be really hard to like bring up things that maybe you are interested in, but just they don't know anything about, they're not going to be interested in either. It's like, there's a lot of that. I have things that I could talk about with my brother for hours. I wouldn't be able to talk with my mom for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
or I could talk with my mom about some things for hours, and I couldn't talk with my brother about it for a minute, Um, so, hey, welcome, Moonlit. Nice to see you. What I'd say is sometimes it's okay to throw things out there just to see where they go, that of things that you're actually interested in. You might be surprised sometime. You might be surprised at them actually being interested in the things that you have to say that are really about you or about the things you're interested in. It's okay to throw those things out there and not get a hit. It doesn't cause any damage to the relationship to say something and it to go nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least it shouldn't. If that damages the relationship, then you got a lot of other things to worry about. But it generally shouldn't damage the relationship to say something that you're like, hey, I'm interested in this. It's like let's say you're interested in a video game, and they don't play video games. You might, they're not going to understand at all if you just say a video game by name and then you're like, yeah, this blah 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 game blah blah blah. They're It's totally going to go over their heads. They're not going to be interested at all, and that's normal. I mean, everyone's doing their own thing. So, but you might say something about games that could be interesting to them. Like you can ask them, did they ever play any video games or anything like that, And they might say, yeah, well, you're not really. And you're like, well, did you ever play as a kid or anything like that? That might land. And they might be like, yeah, there was a game I really like. I like Tetris. And it's like, oh, Tetris, nice. I like Tetris. um, and you can talk about that. He's like, oh, so you've like played an arcade? Did you, play like Pac-Man and stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, yeah, I did play Pac-Man, and then you can go off on about that, stuff like that. Things that you're at least mildly interested in, you can bring those up and find small connections you can make with them and talk about it. And at some point, you might even be talking in depth about them. You might find a little mechanic in a game that they're interested in hearing about because it's interesting on a different level. Like it meets something you're interested in something, and there's this connection bridge between something that you're interested in, they're interested in, and they're not the same field at all, but they connect with this one kind of concept, and you can just talk about the concept and how the concept is interesting. And sometimes that's how it goes. But yeah, I'd say don't be afraid to throw stuff out there that you're interested in sometimes and see if it goes anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I think we've said a lot, we've covered a lot of ground, and I'm pretty positive that you're going to improve in this. Whether or not you take any of our advice, your heart's in the right spot. And I would say if you just keep keep your interest keep your interest in them and the relationship and how it's moving forward, that's going to put you on the right path. But it might be worth going ahead and replaying this whole conversation that we've had since we started, because I think there's a lot of really good nuggets. And
You're a good
there,
nugget.
thank you. Like digging for gold, to bring it back to what Joe said. So, thank you. Such a good nugget.
You're such a good
Um,
nugget.
such a good nugget. I love it. It's what I'm gonna tell people from now on. Hey, it's really nice seeing you. You're such a good nugget.
You're such a good
But
nugget.
no,
Yeah.
you're such a good nugget. You know? Oh man, it's such a good line.
Yeah.
You're very good. A chicken nugget. Hold on
Chicken
now.
McNugget.
Whoa. I don't think we're allowed to
Oh,
say that.
I'm allowed to say whatever I want.
That's true. That's true.
I might offend some people.
Yeah, you certainly will, especially with things like chicken McNugget and whatever.
That's right. I'm very
Dang.
offensive.
That's the second time you've brought up McDonald's on this stream.
I know.
What's going on right now,
We're not
Joe?
even sponsored by McDonald's.
Have you had McDonald's recently?
Actually, yeah, a week ago.
What I tell you about that spiritual war that's going
Dude,
on,
I'm
man.
telling you, and
That
it was crazy.
your things
It was
will impact.
exactly what I expected. I felt like garbage.
Yeah. Every time. Every time.
Every
I've
time
not
I was
had a
like, you
time
know what?
like
I haven't had a McChicken in forever, and so I ate a McChicken.
Mhm.
And then I was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I feel that way every time.
and then I was
And I
hungry
haven't
like a half an hour later too, and I was like,
oh,
yeah.
I haven't had McDonald's. Because of that, I haven't had McDonald's in, I believe, years. Many years.
Now, I will say this about McDonald's.
Sure.
The breakfast, I have no trouble with whatsoever. I love the breakfasts, right? But it's only served until like 11 a.m. and then, and then it's just their regular food, which I don't really like that much. But I probably, in the name of tradition, I will probably be having McDonald's breakfast this Saturday.
Oh, as a tradition.
Yes, because
Great job, Young Leos.
it's the first, like, okay, my son and I, my oldest son is going on a school field trip. He's going to be gone to Gettysburg, right?
Wow.
So it's just me and my youngest son this weekend. And so we're going to Cedar Point.
Ah.
And so, when you get up early to drive all the way to San Crusty, Ohio, and, you're going to be on the road for 3 hours, it's kind of like a thing where it's like on the way to the expressway, there's a McDonald's. And so we'll probably be stopping to get McDonald's breakfast because that's kind of a tradition for us.
Well, if the McDonald's
on our way to
breakfast
Cedar Point.
doesn't give you the gross, then that's all right.
Yep.
You can have
Some about the breakfast food is different. Like it
is very different. It's yeah.
I don't get that weird nasty feeling after
Did you put the hot sauce on?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
No.
Yeah, I like it, but
that's fine. You like it
it's
all you
right.
want.
Ooh, jelly bees.
Oh, Jollibee pies. What McDonald's pies used to taste like? Oh.
Yeah. I remember those when I was a kid.
I remember the McDonald's pies.
When I was a little kid, the breakfast didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
I remember when they started it.
I was really happy when they started that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jollibees for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
We're going to talk about food now, aren't we? It's going to be great.
Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we talk about food.
Yep.
Apparently.
And I'm probably going to go on probably I'm going to end up on a Cedar Point rant because we're going
there. Of course.
So if you find yourself in the Sandusky, Ohio area on Saturday,
wow,
come find me. in that
Come
sea
find
of
me.
people.
That's a line. Come find me. It sounds like a threat, but backwards. Anyways, and Anonymous, thank you so much for this topic. Sincerely, yeah, thank you. And I hope that we covered it well and that you found something useful in it.
hmm I'm sure you'll find something useful in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, with your heart in the place that it already is in, I think you're going to be just fine. It's just a matter of changing your perspective around. And I like what Ryan said about, repeating I love you before I go into talk with somebody, or when I'm in the middle of sometimes it's good to have that little reminder. And it's interesting because when you say that, your whole countenance just kind of changes.
Yeah, that's right. It does.
Like you might be thinking,
I like what you said that,
you
yeah.
might be really focused on something they're saying, and whatever, and you got this kind of, like you might, whatever. But then when you say to yourself, I love you, I love this person, and then like it kind of just lightens up a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah. Yeah, try not to be thinking about something else when they're talking. That can be distracting.
Well, yeah, and
You
most of the
got,
time, a lot of times
yeah,
we're just thinking of what we're going to say.
yeah.
We're trying to think of what we're going to say in response to what they're going to say. And so we tune out what they're saying and we miss half of what they said because we're trying to think of our response. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I learned many years ago to stop worrying about what I'm going to say before they finish, because I think at some point I felt like, I guess one, I had confidence in my own improvisation. And if I don't know what to say next, that's okay. I think when I had to just come to the realization that it's like, if I don't have anything to say as a response, it's like totally okay. I don't really need to be thinking about what to say next, so I can just kind of listen. That was a big realization for me. And it really changed the way that I engaged with people in conversation, was to just like stop, just like listen in. They're talking. That's what's important is them. So,
Yeah. And
yeah,
they're
that's
talking
interesting.
specifically so I will hear what they're saying.
That's right. That's
Right.
true.
But it's amazing to me because none of us are really this isn't something we're ever really trained in, being trained in having a conversation.
Science rocks. The louder, the better, actually. Yeah, you're right, Joe. You're right, Joe. We aren't trained. We aren't trained how to speak to people at all.
Right. And so somebody and most of the people that you talk to out there don't know anything about this stuff. And so
True.
they're just there talking to you.
They're dealing with the same things you are.
Yeah. And so see, now that you have this knowledge, now that you have, and Anonymous, you have a hunger for this knowledge, you're asking about this, right? So you want to know. Like that puts you in kind of rarefied air. Like you're kind of different than most people just because it matters to you, right? And so so a lot of times when you're having a conversation, somebody's leading that conversation, and usually the person who's leading the conversation is the person asking the most questions.
Yeah, it's true.
You're kind of guiding the conversation with your questions. And so that's why I love the signpost thing that I mentioned earlier. It's like, you can just figure out a way to keep the conversation going, to draw them out a little bit more. And then as you learn more and more about people, you kind of like the conversations get easier and easier.
And that's a good point. Like you said, usually the driver of the conversation is not necessarily the one doing the most talking, but the one that's asking the questions.
Yes.
So if you think about it, Anonymous, you're the one driving the conversation into dull areas. It's like you're kind of asking, how do I drive it into better areas? And so I think what you should ask yourself is, what are the better areas you can be driving into, rather than what are the areas that are going to be dull for you, but fun for them. I think it's way better for you to be asking the question, what are the areas of conversation I can be digging up that's going to be a fun adventure for us? And I don't mean to put the full blame on you, but I do mean to say you've kind of are you the one taking control in the driver's seat, being the one in power here?
If you're
So,
asking the questions,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
However, it
So,
doesn't take neither one of the people drives the conversation into the dirt sometimes. Like sometimes it
yeah,
just happens,
yeah.
you know?
And it's okay again if it becomes silent. That's totally like I said. Be confident that it's like there's a certain sense of confidence that I don't know how to name it, but like the silence is good. Have confidence in the silence, that the silence is good and it is useful. It is something that promotes health and wellness and strength in your bonding experience. So if a conversation becomes silent, it's like don't be afraid of a conversation ending. Don't be afraid of like not really having much to say to something. Sometimes it's okay to just be like, yeah, fair. And then
Sure.
just quiet. And then
Uh-huh.
it's just like that moment of silence, bask in it like it's good. Bask in it like it's holy. Bask in it like it's like the source of goodness in that moment. Be like, yeah, and just chill.
Mm-hmm.
And don't have any worries about the person and how they're feeling. Don't have worries about you and how you're feeling. Just like let it go and let it be. And then I think that if you can do that, then there's no fear or reason for you to necessarily have to ask questions that drive a conversation into territory you're not really interested in. Because I don't, obviously there's some good in that, but I don't think it's really that helpful for your relationship.
Mm.
But I don't know. Those are just thoughts. I'm just winging it up here, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embrace the awkward. Embrace the
Yes. Embrace the
silence,
awkward. Mm-hmm.
you know? And then sometimes you just have to start talking.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you just have to start talking,
Yeah.
and I'll start talking.
Because don't you feel better? Like, think about it. Like, don't you feel better when people are asking you about things, about why you like something or what got you into something or whatever? We kind of like that as long as it's asked in a way. If it's asked in a way that makes you feel like they're interrogating you or something, then it can be really uncomfortable. But most of the time, we like answering questions about ourselves, right? And so you're giving a person that opportunity. It's also it's hard to sometimes when people just talk a lot, that can be a really difficult conversation to have, right? Especially when
Mhm.
people are talking past each other, they're not listening to what the other person has to say, they're just filling the air with noise and they're both trying to get their point across and it's just like it's clashing and whatever. Or sometimes you have
Yeah.
people who dominate a conversation. There's a guy I know that actually we rent our building from him at the cabinet shop. Dude's a talker, man. And he will listen, right? He will, but he's also the kind of guy who just he has a story for everything and he's really nice and he's really amicable and he's really great and everything, but sometimes it's just like people will talk and talk and talk and talk, and that's when it's really important to say to myself, I love you. I don't say it out
I
loud. I
know.
don't say I don't say to the dude I'm not like he's talking. I don't say to him, I love you. I just say that in my head,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
Reminded me of someone who I think a lot of us know, and he's a really like he talks a lot once he gets going, like, and it doesn't take much to get him going, just like what you were describing.
mhm.
But I love that he's self-aware because he's like, by the way, I know I do this, and then he's like, so you just have to tell me to shut up because I will not stop, and I will hog your time. You cannot wait for me to end a conversation and then you can go about your day. I'm gonna keep on going and going and going until you just tell me to shut up. So just tell me when I'm supposed to show up. Anyways, so I was doing this the other day, and so I'm like, he's totally self-aware of it, and he just does it. He just kind of plowed right through, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. I love that.
Uh-huh.
And he's on to the next conversation. Like, it's so good.
Yep. Yep.
Some people are just talkers. It's great.
Yep, you bet. So the better
Mm-hmm.
you are at listening, the better you are at asking those questions, the better you're going to be in those conversations, and you're going to feel better about them too. So a lot of times it just takes that shift in perspective, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's right.
so yeah, say it out loud, and it'll leave sooner.
It will leave. Oh
uh,
no, he just said out loud and he'll leave. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I love you. If I say that out loud.
Yeah. Like they're in the middle of the same words. And you're just like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Excuse me? Sorry?
It'd be so
Like,
great.
yeah, yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, now it's we've talked about this for a while now. Anonymous, thank you for the topic. Thank you all of you
Mhm.
for being here. Um
Yeah. We would be so happy to receive more topics
mhm.
like this or like anything. Because we are at 0 once again, so we'd be really happy
Yeah.
if you wanna send in that topic.
So send us some topics. I would say send it in the chat, but don't if you send it in the chat now, it's not going to work very well. But go to don'tworrywednesday.com. If you have something you'd like to talk about on this show, go to don'tworrywednesday.com, click the submit a
And
topic
start
button,
talking.
and then fill out the thing and start talking.
And start talking.
Yes.
Well, it's typing for you, but unless you get that, you speak to it and it types what you say,
Mm-hmm.
then you can talk.
Neon's Wednesday. I like that too. It's a lot of fun. I like talking about just random stuff too. It's fun. We have a good
Thank
time.
you.
Either way.
Yeah.
And
Reassuring.
engaging with the chat. You guys are so much fun to talk to. You know, it's great to be here with you guys. So but if you do have something you'd like us to talk about, you can go to don'tworrywednesday.com and fill the thing out there. And come back next week because we're gonna be here next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan anyway.
Wait, hold on. Let me think about that. Yeah. I don't think I'll be here next week, now that I think about it. Let me
Oh,
see. That'll be the 20th for you, it'll be the 21st for me. I think I actually will be there. I just have to wake
oh,
up
Neon's Wednesday
in the
says you not here
morning.
next week.
Okay. I think in order for me to make it next week, it would be a bit tight. Um,
You guys are
since
doing the
I'll have,
traveling thing.
yeah, so yeah, we'll be doing the traveling thing. We'll be taking an airplane, I think, and then landing the night before maybe, but I actually might be landing that day late. I don't know. I guess I think it'd be wiser to say, um, don't count on it. That way we don't have a issue
Okay.
of you expecting me.
Okay.
And then, yeah,
Yeah, they're going back. They're going back to Australia, but not for too long. Sounds like.
hopefully. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I would try to make it.
You can
So
try to make it
I
maybe.
can try to make it. Oh, only maybe. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, thank you. We are accepting
See,
prayers.
August, we don't have Jollibees in Michigan. I don't. Well, maybe we do. I've just never seen. Not near where I am in Michigan. There might be one down by Detroit or something.
Yeah, I'm not
I'd never
sure.
heard of Jollibees. Now he's gonna look it up. Look it up.
Yeah.
Fact finding.
Um, wow, they actually have them in Michigan.
Where in Michigan?
Ooh. Wait a minute, that can't be right. Yeah, see, that's not right. There is one in Sterling Heights.
So Detroit.
Yep. And
Basically
then there's
Detroit.
one in, ooh, the next closest one is in Ontario.
Oh.
And then there's one in Chicago.
Oh.
hmm Actually,
Oh.
Chicago's closer than the one in Ontario, but
I
that's all
better
right.
get
Yeah.
going. I'm gonna have to go to Jollibee's
Gotta
now. I'm
start.
gonna have to drive all the way to
Yeah.
Sterling Stinking Heights.
Sterling Heights.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
Sterling Heights. I'm sure Sterling Heights is a great place. It's just down by Detroit, and Detroit is not my favorite place to go.
Me neither.
If I'm well,
But
actually, if
I'd
I'm
rather go to
going to
Detroit than Chicago.
if I'm going to Detroit, I don't want to be in the suburbs. I want to be in the city. I want to be in like
Detroit City.
downtown. I want to be in downtown Detroit where the big buildings are and it's, like
Hmm.
city. Jeff put
Yeah,
the
you won't be
address on
there.
there. Jeff, you're so resourceful. Thank you.
Wow.
When I saw that, I thought it said Woodward Avenue. I was like, oh, so that's in like downtown, but it's
Oh,
Woodridge
Woodridge.
Drive.
Yeah. Oh, it's close.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What do they have? They got burgers, um, mac and cheese.
Burgers,
What
mac and
else?
cheese,
Oh, chicken wings. Oh,
chicken wing, hot dog and
what are
bologna.
those? They got like this some kind of cheese sauce with mushrooms over top of what are those like fried potato or that is weird looking. I don't know what that
Mushroom
is.
cheese
With
fries.
and a side of rice. I am so confused at what this item is. I
Oh
don't
boy,
even know. That's weird. They got spaghetti. You can get a box with spaghetti, coleslaw, gravy, and a big chicken breast in it,
all
deep
mixed
fried.
together.
That's the yep, in a box. Well, the spaghetti, the sauce is on the side, and the slaw is in a container, and the chicken is on the side. Okay, it's in one box,
Isn't that all
all
mixed
mixed.
together in the box? Like throw it all in the
Yeah,
box.
but they got nice peach mango pies. That sounds good. I'd eat that.
Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah,
Everything that you can eat, just put it all in a box and shake the box.
yeah,
And
that's a
then
great idea. Nothing wrong with that.
get it all mixed up together. Some places you can do that and it's just fine. Like Raising Cane's, you can totally do that and it's just fine.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever been to Raising Cane's before. That's like my
I've never
favorite.
been there. No.
That's like my favorite. One of my favorite
What about
chicken
Shake
Shake
Shack?
Shack.
Hmm.
I like Shake Shack.
Can you do it there?
No,
Because you'd
well,
have
I mean
shake
you
on your
you
stack.
can do that with anything. It's just is it gonna wreck your eating experience?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is a shake on your steak gonna wreck your eating experience?
Well, you got a burger and some fries and a milkshake, but they don't put the milkshake in the box, right?
I thought that's what we were saying, though. Well, if you don't, I don't think there's anything wrong with burgers and fries touching each other.
Not
I think it'd be
usually. It's
fine.
just if your burger gets all into pieces, like if you got, because
Oh yeah, I
I
guess
always
you're
get
right. You shake in the box.
I get
Yeah, your
the,
whole burger would be.
I get the bacon avocado burger, right? And so then
Yeah,
there'd be like avocado mash all over everything in
that's
there.
that's right. Yeah, fair, fair.
Yeah, Shake Shack is so good, right, August? Telling you, man. The first Shake Shack experience I had was in downtown Detroit. It was
Mm.
great. I was like, "Oh, this is so good." I had a shake that was like 1,100 calories or something like that. It's crazy. Just the shake.
Yeah. Wow. I
I
do
was.
not pay attention to calories.
I mean, I don't usually either, but there it was staring me in the face because they put it on their menu,
They
right?
put on
And
the
I was
board.
just like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, this is whew, all right."
Wow.
I'm gonna be full for a
You're going
while,
for it.
hopefully.
Yeah. But you're gonna have a lot of energy.
Oh
Calories is
yeah.
just a unit of energy.
Yep.
So, mhm.
Yep. This is good. This is very
Yeah.
good. All right. So Ryan will not be here next week. Sounds like. Maybe
Yeah.
I
It's
will.
likely that I won't.
I don't know. We got a show in the schedule. Might have to find a sub. Might have to do it.
Italian.
Italian?
Yeah, find an Italian sub.
An Italian sub from Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, from Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have to find one.
Yeah. Okay, so it'll be me and a sub from
Hey
Jersey
guys, I've
Mike's.
got with me a sub. Is an
Ta-da!
Italian.
Watch me eat it.
Yeah,
No, no,
watch me eat it,
no,
yum. Yeah. Oh no, I ate the sub and I'm gonna do the show with.
no. Be like, look, I got another sub. Ding.
Ah,
It's like I'll probably eat like 4 subs.
yeah. Well, you can make the subs talk because
You
you
can?
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yep.
That'll be fun for everybody. I will be sad that I didn't make it to that show
That's okay.
just to watch it, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna have to like log in just to watch or
Yeah.
watch the restream or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. I could do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean?
All
That's
right,
another
well,
thing.
go ahead and close it down, Joe.
I will
Start
close it
talking.
down, guys. Start talking. Guys,
Such a
thank you
good
so
line.
much for being here with us. We love you and we love doing this show. We love hanging out with you guys. And we will see you next time. Until then, again, if you have a topic you'd like us to talk about, go to don'tworrywednesday.com. We're not professionals. We just want to help. And so if there's something bothering you, some part of your life that's a struggle, feel free to send it. If you want to just send something funny, send that too, but we'll talk about just about anything on this show. Like I said at the beginning,
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever denied one.
Yeah.
So
Never.
you can try. I mean, if you want to, you can send a topic that we're not going to do.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
luck.
yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But, all right. We'll see you guys next time on Don't Worry Wednesday. Until then, take really good care of yourselves and the people around you. And we'll see you next time. We love you guys.
Love you all. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Peace.